What's up, everybody? To my newest video. I can't remember what number I'm on, but just pretend like I said it. We're going to be going over an artist who just dropped 2 new singles for his upcoming album that's dropping in, I believe, August. And I took a listen to them, and it really reminded me of this project that he dropped damn near over a decade ago, which is my personal favorite from this artist. I'm pretty sure it's his biggest album to date, and definitely one that put him on the map. His music style can be described, as DIY rock, indie rock, or in his words, jizz jazz, whatever the hell that means. And he's known for being a very laid back type of artist, a laid back person, which really translates into his music. And another fun fact, I believe one of his in his band, one of those artists broke off and became Homeshake. Can y'all guess who I'm talking about and what album we're going to be going over today? Drum roll, please. We got Mac DeMarco Salad Days. Check that shit right there. And we're going to be going over the vinyl. This project dropped in 2014. And, this was my intro to, more of the indie scene. I have to give it to my brother Tyler for putting me on Mac DeMarco, and he showed me this album, whether he remembers it or not. I heard, he had songs out like My Kind of Woman and Ode to Viceroy that I heard. Those are pretty popular, but this was the first album that I thoroughly went through and really got me into this artist. I believe this album is a classic in my opinion, definitely a classic to me, and I'm sure a classic within his fan base. It's very laid back, like I said, minimal production. And that's what really drew me to him. There's videos of him, which I'll go over in a little bit, of how he made the album. He describes how he made it. It's literally in his room with just one machine. And it showed me that, if he can create something so crazy like this with that little resources, then, you can do that shit too. And that's what I really took from it. And it was something new to my palette. I never really listened to this type of music before. And it was definitely, the soundtrack to my teenage years. I don't mean to date myself. But yeah, so I consider this his best work. But Rock and Roll Nightclub and all his other projects are fantastic. And I'm sure I'll be going over those later in the future. So just a little backstory to this album. It was released in 2014. How old is this? It was recorded in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. It's his second or third album, depending if you consider Rock and Roll Nightclub and 2, as one, or not one, but those two projects were before this one, sorry. And it's those projects are really good, but it's kind of a more upbeat than this one. And it was very like just fucking around, having fun in a good way and creating good music, while this one was very more, had a more mature sound, had a lot more concepts. And he says I have a quote right here. It says, Mac described his feeling when creating this album as, as weathered, beat down, and grown up all of a sudden, because he made this while touring for almost 2 years for his for the 2 album and Rock and Roll Nightclub. But he said he recorded this all in a month and mixed, produced, written, and recorded it all himself. Like I said, this can be described as bedroom rock, lo-fi indie, but Mac describes it as jizz jazz. Pause. But the singles to this that he dropped before this dropping this album was Passing Out the Pieces and Brother. So now, getting to the part that everybody wants to see, we're going to go over the vinyl itself. So you can see this cover right here. Everybody's seen this cover. And on the back side, you got him with his guitar. I believe this is the guitar that he said cost him $30. And that's what he recorded most of his guitar sounds on with the mic. But if you open it here, you get a layout of, I haven't even opened this in a minute, of his whole studio. I'm going to assume that's a studio setup. I mean, look at, you can see all that shit. Now, we'll be going over that later. I didn't even notice that. And right there, you got him and his girlfriend right there. Got looks like a bunk bed, and then his whole studio. And that's the same guitar that was on the back side. It's very, very cool. And he's got the thank you notes right there. Oh shit. It says thanks to Kiera, Michelle, Mike, Pete, Joe, Pierce, Mom, Hank, Katie, Ron, Karen, Sarah, Eddie, Justin, Mike C, Clements, Roxanne, Dustin, Colin, Shigio, Maxence. Holy, sorry, I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Meat Wallet, Stefan, TK's, Harumi, Ryochi, and Hippie Johnny with a peace on. I think I recognize one of those names. We'll be going over that in a second. And yes, he's got posters all over here, and it's a really cool layout. It's a really cool aesthetic, and it did come with a poster. Unfortunately, like a theme in all my other videos, I put it somewhere in my room, my old room, and I don't know where it is. So the poster would have been in this slot right here, but we're gonna open up this second slot. Go to the vinyl. So right here, before we get into other stuff, it's a black vinyl right here. Right there, you can see it right there. See my camera setup, side A, side B, and it's got all just the names of the title of the music, or the song titles. I'll put this right here. I clean my vinyls after all these, so please don't come at me in the comments how I'm handling this. So right here, I'm going to assume this is just another photo from the cover shoot right here. And then on the back, you got all the credits. And this is a little different. You got the credits on the sleeve rather than like its own separate thing. But actually, now that I'm reading this, it's the lyrics. It's not even the credits. I guess it's because he did it all himself. But you can see all the lyrics right here. Really cool. And on the bottom, it says all songs written, performed, and recorded at Jizz Jazz Studios. That's probably where you got the name. In Brooklyn, New York, in October 2013. And there we go. So that's it for the vinyl itself. Right there. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah. So about this album. Sorry, 1 second. Boom. I'm going to put it right here. I should probably get like a little... Hold up. A little on the spot type shit right there. You know what time it is. So yeah, this album, I have my notes right here. The production, a large portion of it, could be described as warm, wobbly sounds on Salad Days. I have this quote right here. It came about, because I don't want to misspeak, it came about through a use of analog gear, including a Focusrite ISA 1 analog prenup, his vintage Roland Juno 60, and most notably his Fostex A8 tape machine, which I'm sure that's this one right here. There's a video of him describing it. He literally just records it on there and just does it one by one, layer by layer. And I think that's really cool and really interesting. I have the track listing right here. We can go through all the tracks. But I remember when this album came out, I was in high school, and there's this kid named Marco who did the same thing and kind of showed me how it works. And it was really cool to see it in person because he was doing that type of style. And, just to see how simple music can be when a lot of these artists, especially at that time, was very complex sounding music, and this was very simple and very DIY, and I really like that. Another tidbit about the production, I have another quote right here where it says off his probably most famous track, Chamber of Reflection. It is based off a composition of Word 2 by, I don't even want to mispronounce it, I'll probably put it right here, which was the guy in the credits that we saw, but it's a composition of his song Word 2. It references a Freemasonry concept also called the Chamber of Reflection. DeMarco subsequently likened the concept to his home studio. It's a room of people to go to before you initiate into Freemasonry. It's like a meditation room, and they lock you in there for a period of time. The purpose of it is to reflect on what you've done in your life already and move on from it. I think that's what I did in my home studio right here. It's actually therapeutic. I feel a little enlightened and a little less heavy. It's tight. I think that describes the album and the production in its full, it describes it perfectly. And I think you really get what he was going for with the sounds that he used, the synths, the guitars, the drums. It just sounds very, he sat there, reflected, and created what was on his mind. But like I said, he did all this shit himself, so there's really no collaborators or features. I know he doesn't really sample much, but for the Chamber of Reflection, he sampled that song. So I guess if you consider that a collaboration. For my favorite tracks, probably have to go Salad Days, Chamber of Reflection. I know those are basic picks, but they really encapsulate what they're going for. I have the track list right here. Passing Out the Pieces, I feel like is a very the most complex production on here, and it sounds really good. Blue Boy and Let My Baby Stay definitely have me thinking, and those projects really, really are sentimental sounding songs. I'm sure they're all very sentimental to him, but that really, puts me, it has a certain type of vibe to it, and I feel like he really comes through on those projects. And of course the music is really good on those. He has a certain style with his sound, with his vocals, and with his production, especially on those tracks that I just listed. But that being said, I don't think there's any skips on this project. It's only 11 songs long, clocking at 34 minutes. This project is definitely something you got to check out. And in my opinion, honestly, probably in everyone's opinion, his best project to date. But regardless, I'm still excited for his new project. The first two songs are sounding really good, and I feel like if it's based like those two songs, it's definitely a contender for one of his better projects, because I'm excited for it. All right, see you guys in the next one, and hope you enjoy this video.